Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a wonderful tag for you for Tag Tuesday. I was tagged by the wonderful Shelly Swearingen and Jack over at Spread Book Joy for their original tag, the Picture This tag, which is all in support of their readathon that they are hosting this month about picture books. You don't have to have a love of picture books to be able to do this tag, and the prompts are all based around picture books, but your answers don't even have to be picture books. So I thought I would do it since they both kindly tagged me. I wanted to get this out as quickly as possible, and I think what I'm going to try and do today, this is actually my second time recording this, because the first time I realized that I was just talking about books I've already talked about quite a bit. So I'm going to try and answer the prompts with books that I have never talked about on my channel before. We'll see how it goes, or rarely talked about on my channel before. So let's just jump right into the tags. So the prompts, the first one is Love You Forever, written by Robert Munsch and illustrated by Shelia McGraw. Name a book you imagine you'll love forever. So for this one, the book I'm going to pick is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. I read this a number of years ago. It is about a love story between Henry and Claire. Henry is a time traveler, and he's all through his life is traveling through time, and travels back in time and meets a young girl, is frequently going back and meeting her, seeing her over and over and over again. And then as you kind of progress through this story, when the little girl becomes an adult, she meets Henry in the current time frame and gets to live all of his time travel from the other perspective. And so it was a really unique premise when it came out, a really interesting love story with interesting characters. It's a due for a reread. I haven't read it in a number of years. I do remember gifting it to people because I loved it so much at the time that I read it, and I'm just curious, would I still love it as much today? But I'm going to say that one. Number 2, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, Very Bad, No Good Day, written by Judith Viorst and illustrated by Ray Cruz. Which books or comforting things do you turn to when you're having a bad day? For me, I like to watch mindless television or read some completely just trashy romance novel. For whatever reason, those tend to just take me away from whatever my bad day was. And also a romance novel can get me out of a reading slump if I'm ever in one. Yeah, those would be the couple things that I love to do if I'm just kind of having a bad day. I don't want to be around a lot of people if I'm having a bad day, which often means, I want to be upstairs and just laying down and watching TV. But yeah, so those would be the normal things, which, if you know me at all, I'm very much a people person. I like to talk, and yeah, when I'm not in a good mood, I just want to be left alone. Number 3, The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Which book, series, character sparked your hunger for reading? So I talked about this way back in my BookTube newbie tag and haven't really talked about it since then. I have a minor case of dyslexia. It wasn't diagnosed until I was about in 4th grade. I was struggling to read. I didn't want to read, and I had to go to special classes in order to read. So the series that I would normally have picked up and might have cultivated this love of reading at a young age, I didn't get that until I was kind of in junior high school, and then I wasn't really reading a series that I would say, oh yeah, this is what really made me read more. A couple of the books that I remember reading at a young age, the first one is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. If you're not familiar with Charlotte's Web, it's about a spider who is trying to, in her web, write messages so that the pig doesn't get butchered. And so she has befriended the pig and is trying to help him basically not be killed. And so it's a really interesting friendship story. It does have, some death in it. I don't remember what age I read it, but I still love Charlotte's Web. But I'm going to say that one for now. As an adult, I've talked about it before, but Agatha Christie was one that definitely got me into reading more. But we'll talk about that more in a later prompt. Number 4, Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. What's the most unusual book you've ever read? So I have to go with House of Leaves, and I won't try and pronounce the author's last name. I'll put a picture of the book up, or book cover up for you. That book, if you haven't read it, is the most bizarrely formatted book I have ever picked up. When I was trying, it is on the 1001 book list, and so of course I wanted to read it, and I was looking for it in a digital format and an audio format, and I could only get it in a physical format from the library. I was like, well, that's silly. Why can't I get it as a digital book? And then you get the book and you understand why. The formatting is all over the place. In some cases there's only one word on a page. In some cases the text goes in a square, and it's the weirdest formatted book I have ever read. And it's just a weird book, but I'm going to say House of Leaves for sure. Number 5, Where the Wild Things Are. I was looking for my book. Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. What is your favorite book featuring the natural world? So I just talked about a bunch of my favorite books in my Let's Get Outside with Books tag. And so I don't want to say any of those, but those certainly would all qualify for this. What I am going to do is talk about one I have upcoming. And this is one that I have a feeling I'm going to end up really loving once I get to it. And so the book is The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. And so I am really curious about this one. It says, a surprising exploration into the wonder of consciousness. And part of the reason why I really want to read this one is I watched a Netflix movie that was called My Octopus Teacher. And it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating to watch this man who was diving befriend almost this octopus and live. They don't necessarily live there. The octopus in that series did not live a very long life. And so I'm really curious about this book. I'm going to say that this one is an upcoming one that I'm super excited about. All right, number 6, Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Do you read at bedtime? Do you read to someone else at bedtime? Did anyone ever read to you at bedtime? I do not read at bedtime. I can't read at bedtime. I fall asleep. My mind does not want to focus. I will pick up a book and immediately put it down. My reading time is always in the morning. I tend to get up very early, 5 a.m. sometimes, and can read for a few hours before I have to start work. But yeah, I can't read at night for whatever reason. Can't read at night. I do not read to anyone now. My son is much older and is no longer living at home. So no, I don't read to him. I did read to him when he was younger, but certainly not now. And no one, I don't remember anyone ever reading to me when I was young. I don't come from a family of readers. My mom and dad, I don't remember them ever sitting down with a book. So it's interesting that I have become such a big reader when I don't come from necessarily a family of readers. I'm sure at some point I was read a story. It just I don't remember. Number 7, Guess How Much I Loved You by Sam McBratney and illustrated by Anita Jerem. Who had the biggest influence on you as a reader? So not feeling like I could read a lot when I was younger. I don't even remember the teachers who helped me learn how to get past the dyslexia that I had. So really the person that I credit with kind of changing my reading is actually from when I was in my 20s, and that is my husband. One of our first dates was actually in a bookstore, and I wanted to kind of expand my reading, and I wasn't really sure where to start, and he is the one who pointed me towards Agatha Christie. I had never picked one up before, so I do credit him quite a bit with just kind of broadening my reading horizons in my 20s. And then from there, it was just exploded for me. So I went on to read a number of classics. From there, it's why I went and found the 1001 book list, because I was looking for, okay, what else could I read? And was just trying to find more information about other books. And so, yeah, he really was a pretty big influence in my 20s, and how he kind of just changed my reading landscape a little bit. Number 8, The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Which book or set of books would you give to an emerging reader, or what book have you given more as a gift more than once? So for this one, I am going to go back a long way to a series that was first where the character first appeared in 1955. It is, I had read a few of these as a child, but I don't remember when. And it is the Ramona series, or the Ramona collection by Beverly Cleary. And my favorite book is Ramona the Pest. And so Ramona the Pest is written from Ramona's point of view, and she enters kindergarten in that book. She kind of advances in years after that, but that one has been my favorite one because I was a little sister and I was always a pest. Absolutely, without a doubt, always a pest. So I did like that series quite a bit, and I would love to have a new reader kind of experience that one as well. So that is all of the prompts. Yay! The first time I did this tag, when I'm not going to show you that video, I did pull 2 people from the jar, and I'm going to go ahead and tag them because I haven't tagged them really in a very long time. One is Steve from Steve Talks About Books. The second one is Vin from Revenant Reads. You were both tagged in this. I hope if you decide, I hope this is one you might decide to do, but that is the end of the tag. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.